build a nation where peace and justice reign. Amen. We can all take a seat. Good morning once again. I'm not responding. So far, not responding. Good morning once again. Yes. So, right, the next on the agenda is to invite the Chief Operating Officer at 3T Invest Trade Academy, person of Grace Adedayo, to come and give us the welcome address. Please can you welcome for her as she comes up?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome once again to the unveiling of the Nigerian Trade Finance Survey Assessment Report. What I have to do here today is simple. I'm here to basically summarize the report, to summarize the outcome of the Nigerian Trade Finance Skill Gap Assessment Report. So I'll be reading the summary to you on our findings and conclusion on the report. So the outcome of this research has demonstrated beyond every reasonable doubt that most bankers that participated in the survey, and by extension, most bankers in the banking and finance industry, do not have a good understanding of the various aspects of international trade. The survey also showed that most of the bankers do not have enough skill and competence required to effectively and efficiently finance international trade. This probably explains the reason why the volume of international trade finance transactions in Nigeria is very low when compared to other developing countries in of equal or even lower population like South Africa. So the survey outcome highlighting the low levels of understanding and skills among bankers in payment methods, trade finance, risk management, trade documentation, trade compliance, trade rules, trade trends, and trade agreements paints a worrisome picture of the banking sector and the Nigerian economy as a whole. So the lack of knowledge and expertise has a negative impact on both the banks and the overall trade volume in Nigeria. The inadequate understanding of payment methods, trade finance, and risk management exposes the bank to higher financial risk. Banks play a crucial role in facilitating international trade transactions by providing financing and managing associated risk. Without a strong grasp of these concepts, banks may struggle to accurately assess the creditworthiness of borrowers, leading to potential defaults and financial losses. This thus undermines the stability and profitability of the banks, but also erodes confidence in the financial sector as a whole. Furthermore, the lack of proficiency in trade documentation, compliance, and trade rules can result in delays, errors, and non-compliance with regulatory requirements. This can lead to disruption in trade transactions, damage the reputation of banks, and deter foreign businesses from engaging in trade with Nigerian counterparts. And as a result, the volume of international trade finance in Nigeria remains significantly low compared to other developing countries in Africa. So the limited understanding of trade agreements and trade trends also hampers the ability of Nigerian banks to capitalize on emerging opportunities in the global trade market. Trade agreements provide favorable conditions for international trade, such as reduced tariffs and streamlined customs procedures. Without a comprehensive understanding of this agreement, banks may miss out on potential benefits and fail to offer competitive financing options to businesses engaged in international trade using such agreements. So the impact of the low level of understanding and trade skills among bankers on the Nigerian economy is substantial. A robust and competent banking sector is essential for economic growth and development. Without skilled bankers who can effectively handle engaging in international trade, This is the current situation among many businesses who are importers in Nigeria. The lack of confidence in the level of advisory and support that they get from their banks is making them reluctant to heed to the advice of their bankers to do export business as a source of solving foreign exchange shortage. This leads to missed opportunities for growth, reduced direct investment, and limited expansion of trade networks. The low level of understanding and skills among bankers contribute to a lack of trust and confidence in the Nigerian banking system, both domestically and internationally. Foreign businesses and investors prefer to work with banks that have a strong reputation for expertise and professionalism in international trade finance. The perception of inadequate knowledge and skills can lead to a reluctance to engage in trade with Nigerian banks, further limiting the volume of international trade finance transactions. In conclusion, the survey outcome revealing the low level of understanding and skills among bankers in payment methods, trade finance, risk management, trade documentation and trade compliance, trade rules, trade clearance, and trade agreements has a negative impact on both the banks and the Nigerian economy. The lack of proficiency in this area exposes banks to financial risk, disrupts trade transactions, and hampers the growth of the banking sector and the overall trade volume of the country. Addressing the issue requires significant investment in training, education, and professional development to equip bankers with the necessary expertise to navigate the complexities of international trade finance. Only then can the banking sector effectively support businesses engaged in international trade and significantly contribute to the growth and development of the Nigerian economy. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you for that beautiful welcome address. I believe we're able to pick one or two things from it. So now we move on to the next agenda. We would like to invite some of our students, our old students, to come and give their testimonies. But before I do that, I would like to welcome everyone who is here today. First of all, I would like to welcome the ladies and the gentlemen of the press, representing different newspaper, TV stations, and blogs that are presented. If you are here, can you wave your hands as we clap for you? Wow, you're all welcome. Can we clap for them? Yeah, you're welcome. I would also like to welcome our old prestigious students, our remarkable students who has obtained their certificate from the American Institute of Extended Studies. Please can we clap for them as they raise their hands? Yes, I'm also going to be welcoming our new students who are also coming here to get their certificates from the American Institute of Extended Studies today. If you're here, can you wave your hands as we all clap for you also? Alright, so I would like to take a few of our old students to come and share their experience with us on the program they obtained with us and how it has helped affect their life positively, especially their career life. So I'm calling on Mr. Emmanuel Agada. Please can we all welcome him as he comes on the stage. Please can we keep clapping as he comes.
Morning, everybody. All protocols to be observed. My name is Emmanuel Agada. I work for First Bank, Nigeria PLC, and I would like to offer a disclaimer. My views are entirely my own. All right. Because I'm not standing here as a representative of First Bank, I'm standing here as a staff of First Bank who went through this program. I work for the trade products desk. So under my team, we handle everything trade products, that's imports and exports, supply chain finance, and how to build businesses around those products. The course I did in Treaty Impacts was the executive diploma for export trade finance, and it was a 6 months course, intensive 6 months course where we're taking through the entire process of exports, beginning from the initiation of exports up through when export proceeds are received, the entire process step by step, and then we went through export financing, payment methods, exports, identifying opportunities, how to mitigate risks using the different payment methods. And it was an intensive 6 months course and highly practical and engaging. One of the things that stood out for me during the course was the flexibility of doing the course on the system. For those of us who don't know, there is a portal that is also has a mobile application to it that enables you to sign in for the courses and attend those courses on Saturdays. Flexible for me because of the program, and I do not have that kind of time to extract myself from my desk to go for a training. But most importantly also was the fact that you could get the place of your lectures, so you were able to, so there was a period of 1 month, 2 months thereabout where we're virtually on the road every day, going to engage customers, and that ability to play back lectures, even though we're not available to attend those lectures physically, was a huge advantage for us. And then we had a lot of resource material, and of course, we had our able facilitator in the person of Mr. Babu Ayemi, PhD. So you know that you're not dealing with a small fish in the export industry. He's a huge consultant, and he's a force for which anybody would want to listen to because of his views and his experiences in addressing concerns regarding export trade finance. How the course has affected my career. I would just like to take it from two perspectives. The first thing is knowledge is power. Right? Knowledge is power. You can never undermine the importance of knowledge. And there are about 3 or 4 things that we identify when we want to engage our customers in building their export businesses. One of them is access to finance. One of them is access to markets. Another important thing is access to knowledge, because we identify the fact that a lot of our customers do not know about exports. And so sometimes you have to be able to introduce them to the concept of exports and then hold them in the process of doing export businesses. And we start from small enterprise, the SMEs, up to the huge corporates. The other thing I want to just reiterate upon is the fact that the good book says that my people perish because of knowledge. And I like to flip that to the other side where it says that my people advance for availability of knowledge. And one of the critical things that we have experienced when we engage our customers is they want to know that you know. It's very important that they know that you know. And so going through the course and going through the training provided me a platform to know what I did not know before. And I can tell you testimonies of sitting in front of CEOs, CFOs, having the confidence to call them and say, we have solutions to your problems, beyond just trying to say, give me an NX. But by the time you come into their presence and tell them that these are your financing gaps, these are the solutions that we can provide for you. We know that you are risk averse, we are risk averse as well. And these are the solutions that we can provide to provide an end-to-end solution to ensure that we are protected as a financial institution and you are protected as a business. So I have had conversations with that top level of customers. Before I used to be honestly afraid to have conversations before they ask the question and I don't know how to answer. But by virtue of training and knowledge gathering and knowledge capacity building, we'll be able to bridge that gap to the extent where we can now engage, I can now engage on behalf of my institution in street balance. Me, I don't fall my institutional hand. Yeah. So basically, that has been the importance of capacity building. We've not stopped. The dollar has affected some of my programs. I'm on the journey to become an American charter trade specialist. So, but like I said, the availability of knowledge is important to bridge your career, not just for the institution, right, but for the individual to be able to begin to put structures in place to become the best you can be in your field. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for this beautiful remark. Wow. He said knowledge is power. And there's something he also said. He said the exporters, that the export customers, they want to believe that you know it all. So if you don't want to have conversation with the export customers and they're asking you a question, you won't be able to attend to it. They will be like, why can't you attend to this? Because they expect you to know it all. And that is when he said knowledge is power, because the availability of this knowledge has helped him over time to become better when dealing with his customers. I believe we are all getting value. So I would like to welcome next to come our teacher, Mr. Babajide Olayinka. You're welcome. Please, can we clap as they come up?
Good morning, everybody. Naturally, first time I will go doing this, so I don't like this crowd. My name is Babajide Olayinka. I am currently working with Boas PLC, and I am under the Trade Finance and Treasury Department. So I completed my TF program in Diploma, and I was awarded certificate of completion by the American Institute of Excellent Study through 3T Index. But before I talk about the benefit of this certificate to me, I will first of all like to talk about the impact of the trade finance in Nigeria. During the survey, I think you focus more on the banking sector, and I'm wondering what about the manufacturing and the importers? You didn't even touch upon. So I'll be talking about that because they are working for the manufacturer and importation too. So when you look at the trade finance, many companies believe that the department is not actually important. So therefore you see them when there is an enterprise house, the road will just be processing for them, follow up with the bank to issue a letter of credit or get a draft letter of credit and send it to the supplier. When the supplier performs, then you can send the original letter of credit to the supplier and the shipment follows. The trade finance is actually more than that. For example, I think sometimes last year, I saw a vacancy on LinkedIn. So I went directly to the company website. I saw that they were recruiting for the treasury manager role, trade finance manager role. So, but to my surprise, the budget for the trade finance role is actually 300,000, while that of the treasury manager is 900,000. I'm like, the huge gap between these two roles is too much. And is it that this company doesn't know the importance of a trade finance manager? For example, I understand that the treasury person will actually, manage your funds, your heading, and so on and so forth. But the trade finance person will see the company a lot. I want to have it like this. For example, if the process helps him, if you are the type that do mostly confirm letter of credit and cashback letter of credit, which means that the dollar is attached to the so if you do that in yours, and you are the type that you'll be doing your negotiation with the supplier, you are to pay all the option charges for the website, and you are doing the letter of credit. The manufacturer or the importer doesn't know that the cost for doing the sales is so much. And they believe that once the supplier tells you that what I need is just a letter of credit, you just go ahead and issue a letter of credit. So I had one where my friend who happened to be a treasurer in one of this company in Nigeria. You know, he started as an accountant, but later moved to a treasury role. So he got a program last year where he's also supposed to manage. He's also supposed to manage the import, the letter of credit part of it. So he was not asking me. The company I work for is so big, we do much of the letter of credit transaction, and I asked him, is the letter of credit transaction I think always cashback? He said yes, always cashback. So who pays the charges on the letter of credit? He said yes, based on our agreement, we pay the charges on the letter of credit. I said, how many years of relationship do you guys have with the supplier? He said about 15 to 20 years experience. I asked him, if you have 15 years experience with your supplier, and your letter of credit is always a cashback letter of credit, why are you doing a confirmed letter of credit? Why can't you do a confirmed letter of credit? By that you can actually save a lot of cost. And I told him, let's assume that your LC in a year is 30 million, and you have to pay up your charges. By having confirmation to the letter of credit, which is it can be up to 1 to let's say 2.5% of the value of the LC. Let's assume that they are using 1.5% and your LC is 30 million, meaning that the correspondent bank will be charging about $450,000 on just adding confirmation. Meanwhile, your LC is cashback. Why don't you just do a confirmation? When I told him this was like, if I just tried it, in that back, that price is management, you put that into practice. And I'm telling you today that most of their transactions are unconfirmed letter of credit. So at times, manufacturer will just be like, this rule is not important. It is not important because you are not seeing the importance of it. So from that part, I would say that I would advise that the regional companies manufacturing production should be towards that rather than only focusing on the treasury part of it. So coming back to the benefits of the trade finance program, the certified specialist in trade finance. You know, to me, after the completion of the program, actually, I was able to get another job, so I worked harder. So, first, before then, when I set up my application, and I've never been an interview before, never was doing an interview, but I never got any job. I always miss out, and the response is always that. Your experience actually matches what you are looking for on your own, but you lack for the education. So I just went to find out that how can I be passing interview and because of the education I'm able to get this. Okay, let me do some. I just tried to find out program and three signatures just came up. I put it for the program and that was everything. Another achievement that I got from the program is this. I came across this organization of billion exchange. You normally when your bank offers you facility, what is always the that facility is LC facility. We had a lot of cases of interpolation and transaction because of unavailability of FX were able to pay. So during the program, when my able translator here was taking us through, So he talked about the organization of business exchange, and after that program, immediately I got back to the office, I just sent mails to the bank. Can you do organization of business exchange? And you so about 3 banks came out to me and said, yes, we can do it. All you need to do, get the list of exchange, sign it, bring it back to us, we analyze it, but you'll be paying post-negotiation charges. So that it is good. So far, it is going to have made the relationship between us and our suppliers. So then we go for that. So because of this program, I'm able to have more knowledge to what I have known before. So to round this up, I will advise so many other people who are into importing business, not from the banking sector, but who are into importation and manufacturing that import their product from overseas to register or to send their staff for this program. Because I know this program is very important. They also have the LC part of it. So I would advise that they send them for this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let me welcome 2 of our guests for this program today. First is the President, Lagos State of Commerce and Industry. And also, we talked about the banking industry, and we know there's a voice in the industry that is very important when it comes to today. And that's why we have also invited the President of the Council of Bankers of Nigeria, which is ably represented by the CEO and Registrar of CIBS, Mr. Akimura. So we're coming to us because of the program, but for now, I would like to invite the President, just an opening remarks, just a short. Let's have better.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very late. I'm sorry that came so late. And it's not because of the same table commerce work that I'm the employee of the SCA. That's what everybody needs to be having right. And this let's be that beyond what I keep there. So they have here. Just let them know. One of the reasons why I am here is to acknowledge and pay due recognition for specialist knowledge. The world today is ready by teachers who are expert in certain things. Today, Switzerland is known for something. Most people, to mention Switzerland, they are probably thinking of what? Finance. Chocolate. Wristwatches. So, that is what drives the world. And Dr. Ayengo has created a reputation to profile for specialist knowledge in a number of areas. And I always acknowledge and commend and appreciate what you are doing, Dr. Ayengo. Whether it is exports, whether it is very specialized things. The most advanced countries in the world become advanced because they spend a lot of resources and energy and time to develop specialized skills and knowledge. If everybody can make the crowd, everybody wakes up. You have to do something to stand up to stand up. And the whole world is generally like that. Whether we like it or we don't like it, these figures will never equal. They will never be equal. Some will start out. So the question is, are you among those who are when everybody else is in the Africa. So that's really what I really appreciate about what you're doing. On this subject matter, I look at it that the financial institution of the banks, like every other enterprise, says that our human resources are most important assets, our most private assets. Then you go to the bank, you see the ambience, the amount of money that are put in beautiful buildings, everything around physical structures. And you get our bankers very smartly dressed, looking really cool. But then you now engage your service provider, in this case your credit officer, your trade finance person that is handling your transactions. And there's some hitch in your LC, you think you put some LC. You're talking to the guy and say, please hold on, or please hold on, and start typing with you. A smart customer knows something wrong with it. Because my account officer is supposed to be a specialist. That's what makes him an account officer. We are like trained account officer in my bank, and I'm major important. My account officer is my trusted advisor. In the whole world, people are looking for those two words, trusted advisor. The advisor has subject matter expertise and knowledge. Subject matter expertise is a subject matter expert. So if I have anything to do with my consignment, even my structuring, planning my trade finance financing, and taking benefit of all the facilities in my country and in other countries, this is my subject matter expert. That's why he's my account officer. So I saw the outcome of your study, and it's very good. You know, so as a bank, I put a lot of money in buildings, pay my people, and I don't refresh and train. When I read your result, I said this is just because the consequence is not as dramatic. If you are a pilot, you must, even if you have 50,000 hours experience, the most experienced pilot, you must go for the training period. Otherwise, you can't sit in, you simply cannot sit in the cockpit. Because human lives are involved. But because human lives are not involved in the trade finance, whether the bank retrains you or retrains you, life continues. So this is the point I'm trying to make. So we need, as institutions, to put our money where our mouth is. When we see human resource, the most important resource in our businesses, not only banks, everybody. You know, the amount of investments in doing that is massive. And it's unfortunately much more difficult now. Because of you guys, you never look like candidates for that bank. So the banks put a lot of money to train this guy today. He has come back from one heavy training, to spend a lot of money maybe sending on to start a people to do something. And then come back after to know the whole excuse me that. And you are watching what's going on here. So you have to really sympathize with our institution, the bank, but there's no substitute for continuous investment. So my appeal to those of you who are economically involved and those of you that are staff, continuous education, continuous knowledge is not an option unless you want to remain among the crowd. If you want to remain among the crowd, you don't need to worry. You know, you are taking your salary, you need for being able to promote you, but you know, that's what you need. And I hope I will survive and get your pension. That's fine. That's for realities. But if you don't want to belong to realities, whether or not your employer trains you, it's your own business to train yourself. Yeah. So that's why I said for one comment. But since I'm not going to anybody, talking about tracking you, we are not things we are doing in very specialized areas that are critical to the economy. Anytime they talk to me, the president today talks to me, foreign exchange, very hard, very what 2000, what's happening, what is coming to an end, etc. The only thing that protects and grows the value of the foreign currency is therefore forex. Export more, export much more. If you keep doing that, those balance they have no business. With balance we call that business. If you are getting say $10,000 a month from export, you're going to balance. You're going to prospect. So all this complaint about balance, the governors are taking power back. There will be no reason because the currency will be strong. Nobody will go and buy dollar without their listening. Because the price will be just price. But I think the claim is positive. But 2 months, couple of months ago, yes, Ghana. Just country to country, South Africa, Nigeria. For every 1 million people in South Africa, find out how many of them are experts. For every 1 million people in Nigeria, find out how many experts. If you probably find out about 10 times for every 1 million, and it's not for them. So I don't want to highlight these things to make the point that as an individual, as an enterprise, you work an enterprise as an employee, only way you can stand out from the crowd is to just continue to improve yourself. This is what the really become an expert. So I thank you, Dr. Diploma, thank you for this.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Everyone that can we please start? That's a very, very beautiful section. It says so many things that actually inspires me, and I believe it inspires us all. Now, there's something I actually picked from what it said. It said, continuous knowledge is never an option. It's never an option, except you want to remain in the crowd. Except you want to be like a normal people. But if you want to be extraordinary, that means your life depends on yourself. You need to work. You need to take the advantage and do something to have more knowledge and to become more important in the society. So now we are moving on. What take one more old student of us to come and please give us their experience on the program they've taken with us. So I'll call her. Mr. Charles Indley. Are you here?
Yes.
Oh, please, let's welcome him. Let's clap as it's coming up. Please, let's clap. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
The President, Lagos International Chamber of Commerce, the President, the CEO representing the CIDN, Dr. Bamidele, the CEO of the 3US, standing on the existing protocols. My name is Charles Indele. I work with the Sun Trust Bank, currently head the Trade Operations Department. It was a very big eye-opening for me to have taken Satisfied Advanced Trade Professional Program with 3 TAs by extension from Extended Institute of American Studies. Well, I learned a lot and it has added to my experience. But that program helps you to see all the trade views applicable to international trade. We're able to examine all the trade routes What has this added to me? It has made me to become a professional in that field. I could speak authoritatively when it comes to trade, and this has added a lot of benefits to the bank, which the bank has also acknowledged. Today, in the trade team, they are always confident when they go out for international trade marketing, because they know that they have a backup they can always call on to answer questions when they come up. And a couple of times I also accompany them to this trade to go and meet customers, and customers have also said they are satisfied. So what are my encouragements? I want to encourage everyone, for those who have not taken this course, to please, even if you are not going to get a certification, you have the knowledge. If you want to remain relevant as far as international trade is concerned, I think you need to undertake this program. It broadens your knowledge. It also helps you to play according to the rules. Even while we have different rules that govern us globally, we also have our external regulations here. So while we are trying to consummate a transaction, we also play according to the rules. This program will help you. While it's looking at the global rule, it also help you to see the rules that governs us as a country, so that we understand that some of these rules, when they are in conflict with your local rules supersede it. So these are some of the things we need to understand, and this program has exposed us to. So I want to specifically thank Dr. Bamidele for the wonderful work he's doing in imparting this knowledge locally. Really appreciate and encourage the 3T impairs to continue to make the good progress. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for our beautiful remarks. Do you know that we survey over 700 bankers? So in this summary, I'll be giving you some facts from the Nigerian Trade Finance Scale Gap Assessment Survey we've come to unveil today. Despite 80% of participants being marketers, trade finance, and trade operation staffs, about 50% of bankers have not undergone any international trade training program since their entry-level training. Also, only 12% of staffs in the trade service unit and just 1% of bankers in marketing possess any form of trade certification. Can you just ponder over that? Now I'm going to stop here. While I invite to the stage, I would like to welcome, it's time to welcome our visionary, the mastermind behind this project. This is a standing ovation, the author of the Nigerian Trade Finance Scale Gap Assessment Survey in terms of Dr. Can you please tell more than that?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Old students, new students, those who will be giving certificate from AIS today. Thank you very much for the invitation, and for the SCI President. Thank you very much, sir, for coming, and CIBN. Thank you very much for honoring this invitation. I'll give the presentation now for about 30 minutes, and the press can ask questions after this based on your observation. Basically, what I was talking about before we were doing the report is talking about some of our findings at this program. And we not necessarily to do this because we do training for balance, and we realize that the level at which people are living, like the president said, people are living because of Japan in Nigeria, so people are living, but the skilled living are not being replaced as much as they should. So it becomes then necessary for individuals to have to do this for themselves, because if I make discouragement for banks to want to actually invest so much and then at the end of the day not having reaping the benefit because the staff have to leave because of their part that's happening in the country. And about what you said, sir, we will consider it so that we can look beyond banking and go into the manufacturing sector so that we'll be proud to compare at the end of the day. I'm sure it will help to be able to assess and help to know. It's one thing for the bank to, if the customer itself know where they can, maybe we'll be able to help the bank to be able to ensure that the bank do what they need to do. So in section 1 of the program of the report, the preamble, you can download. I don't know if, okay, so you can actually download it. We have internet copy here, the daily. We can download the soft copy so you can review yourself. Nigerian possess substantial potential for GDP growth, job creation and poverty reduction by harnessing the import-export trade sector, which contributes about 25% of our GDP. Globally, trade constitutes actually about 30%. Global trade in goods and services is about 30 trillion, and global GDP is nearing 100 trillion. So it's a very significant amount, portion of our GDP. However, actualizing the potential and expanding trade volume and GDP face significant challenge due to prevalent issues affecting the individual and business. A critical yet overlooked challenge impacting trade growth is competency of bankers handling import-export transactions. So transactions don't get to the end of this for professional debt to even look at it because those in the branches cannot handle it, and sometimes it just die there because the person cannot even explain or handle it. And those professional dealers might not get to see it. So it becomes important for across board, both at the dealers and the branch, to be able to be at least reasonably skilled. So if we are trying to grow trade, in as much as we need infrastructure, we need to deal with a lot of fiscal issues that LC advocates for and the organized private sector advocates from time to time. One thing I think we have not spoken about a lot is also about financing. Being able to put in place good structure to be able to ensure this financing are done very well. The Nigerian Trade Finance Legal Survey is crafted for professionals in trade operation, trade finance, and business development unit. And the purpose is to evaluate the industry competence, pinpoint deficiency, and present solutions to address the skill gap. Of course, listed below are some of the points that understand the substantial risks a bank face if this is not done. Increased credit risk. Because of what I do, talking to banks every day, training, capacity building, when I hear some of the issues with bad debt in trade finance, you can see right within that conversation where the knowledge gap is. I just realized that this could have saved the bank money if this had been done. Of course, because whoever is putting those facilities together, packaging it, structuring it, and designing transaction dynamics lacks some capacity, and that is making the bank to lose. At the end of the day, the bank ends up losing so much for things that could have been avoided in the first place. Fraud sustainability, increased operational risk, regulatory compliance risk, and this is a big issue, regulatory compliance risk. And we have to, and that's one of the areas in survey. Because today, the reason why terrorism sees tried, the reason why we still talk about money laundering is because compliance. If banks are able to comply very well, to a large extent we can minimize illicit financial flow going through the banking system. Failure to meet customers, the important expanding to new market, increase litigation risk. As a banker, we experience that to reach customers sue us because we should an LC, and at the time on the LC, and when we were paying, we didn't do what we needed to do, and the customer noticed it, and of course, they have to take us to court. And of course, we won the case. Litigation risk, reputational damage, and increased regulatory scrutiny, and of course, reduce profitability. Now, for the participants, despite 80%, that's what my colleague read that time, of participants being, so we have people from marketing unit, trade finance unit, trade operation unit, 50% of them has not done any trade-related training since they left training school. Only 12% of the staff who are in trade unit, that's in trade unit, in the bank, have done any certification in trade. About 13% of the bankers identify knowledge gap as the primary challenge in handling national trade operations. But what's interesting about that is 65% of the participants that see knowledge gap as the challenge said are actually more than 6 years in banking. So they are not rookies, they are not new people. They've been back for many years, but they are still having issues with knowledge gap, which should not be an issue for someone that attained that level of experience. Why certification constitutes 30% of a number of bank KPI from the people survey, at least 30% of their KPI has to do with any form of certification. We only realize that only 2% have completed any trade-related certification. Given the dynamic nature of the international trade environment, the fact that the rule is always changing because of the changing business landscape, 70% of the participants have not attended any international trade training program in the last year. So let me look at this. So we did 17 and 16 certainly. 7 and 16 were surveyed, and from 7 and 16 we have tier 1 bank about 38%, tier 2 bank 61%, 0.7% from merchant bank and 0.14% from non-interest. So we try to see how we can make it as diverse as possible. And then we found out that 42% were under 5 years, 0 to 5 years experience. So majority of the participants were over 6 years and above in terms of the experience they have as far as trade is concerned, as far as banking is concerned. And that's very important because that means they are experienced bankers. They've been in bank for many years, but at the end of the day, we see some of the findings of the survey. Almost equal, male and female, 50% male, and of course 48% female. Majority were marketer, and that was very important because there's one that is going to package the facility and working with people in trade finance in the end of it, and of course trade services and other units. Now, percentage of participants that have attended training between 2022 and 2023, when we asked, only 22% said yes. 17% said no. That's like 2 years ago. 1 to 2 years ago, only 20% said they've done a trade-related training. Then we now ask again, when was the last time the participant attended national trade training? And some said never. They've not even attended. Some, 22% said the 2022 and 2023, that's what we saw there. 11% 2022 and 2021, 205 to 250, 10%. And then, when did not many of them have any form of certification? You know, we had a case of a particular lady, when I was down back, and this lady was with us, he had about 8 years experience in banking, 8 years. He got married to a lawyer in the US and he had to relocate. Now, the 8 years spent in Nigeria is not only certification, national certification. So by the time he traveled, for him to be able to fit into the banking sector, he had to do the certification that would have done many years ago that he didn't do during his time within the banking sector. So only 2% of participants have any form of trade-related certification. Then we check for those in those trade services staff with that certification, 18%, only 12% now. If there is any group that should have some level of education because they're supposed to be subject matter experts, it should be people in trade. But only 12% confirm they have, and 88% have not had any. Now we're looking at percentage of the participants that have any certification. Now within the marketing without any certification, 99%. Only 1% of marketing staff have any form of certification. This was more important, and we really, like the president said, 60% said the issue they have with trade and trade finance is knowledge gap. Then we decided to check among that 10%, how many of them, what is their year of experience? We found out that about 65%, 35% was 35 years, 65% of these 38% have at least 6-year experience and above within the sector. Then we asked how many of them that in their appraisal, the bank look at certification as one of the KPI indices that will be used to measure their performance and promotion. 30% said yes, KPI, the certification count in their key performance indicators. Yet, we see how very few that then going to payment method. For those that are not familiar with payment method basically just talk about how documents and payments are exchanged between buyers and sellers. More often than not, people talk about letter of credit, which one of the people that gave estimate talk about, and was talking about trying to explain why how people use letter of credit wrongly and even losing money doing it. And we try to ask, okay, on the set of letter of credit, even which is the instrument that is used among bankers regularly, about 50% of the participants have only an average level of understanding of payment method and letter of credit and bill for collection. And about 5% of the participants have a very high level of payment method and letter of credit and bill for collection, very high level. Only 5%. 50% have just average to low level. Now, so we ask them, banker with understanding, talking about banker level of understanding of payment method. Look at this. You look at something concerning this survey. Average to very low are always very high. Average very low. Very high and high are always very low. So look at this. Very high, 5%. High, 22%. So if you have very high to high, 27%, that means more than 7% have average to very low level. Now, and you're going to be financing trade transactions. And we have this level of understanding of the payment method for that transaction we are financing. Then we ask about the level of understanding of letter of credit principles, the principle of the guide of credit transactions. And this is even lower, 4% very high and 24% high. So 25% understand the principle. If you don't understand the principle, it becomes easier for you to understand the flexibility in using this instrument. Then the level of understanding of principle for bill for collection, we have 4% very high and 5%, 4% very high and 80% high, 32%. So you see what I'm talking about, the fact that more than 75% are within the average to low level in almost all the indices. Then look at the level of competence in handling the most commonly used trade finance instrument, which is letter of credit. Sorry, payment method, which is letter of credit. Very high 5%, high 19%, that's about 24%. And average 46%, very low 24%. And this is a very, very commonly used payment method. Then look at the trade rules that Mr. Charles talked about. Trade rules. The rules that guide letter of credit, the rules that guide before collection, letter of guide before time. There are different rules in national trade. And you know what the rule does? It makes us speak the same language. If I issue a trade finance instrument in Nigeria, if a Chinese man sees it, even though we are not speaking the same language, he will understand what I'm saying. Why? Because there is a rule that unifies us in the world. So no matter what I put in that LC, we understand what I'm saying and we obey and work in line with the details because he understands what makes it possible. International Chamber of Commerce have rules, there are several of them that is in the Certified Advanced Trade Program that Mr. talked about. Now, let's look at details of the rules. We look at ICC trade rule and article in general, and we found that very high and high is just 20%. 8% is average to very low. Then we look at the rule that letter of credit, that's UCP 600, Uniform Custom Practice 600. Very high is 1%, high is 11%, that's 12%. That means 88% do not understand the rule guiding letter of credit. The rule guiding letter of credit. And when I told you about the fact that the customer sued us as a banker, that's actually what we misinterpreted a particular rule, Article 16 on in UCP. On how to handle discrepancy, and the customer leverage of it and sue us because of the mistake we made in this transaction. Why? Because of the rule, and it was a letter of credit transaction, it was a UCP rule, letter of credit transaction. Then we look at bill for collection, uniform rule for collection 522. These are all rules, the national trade rule by ICC. 1% very high, high 8%, that's 9%. This is not common as letter of credit, so I'm not surprised that it's actually lower. And so this 9%, that means 91% are average to very low level. Then look at info time. This we have a very recently revised one because in the last 10 years we have changed info time. Info time basically is a rule that if I'm shipping from Nigeria to the UK and the vessel capsized, something happened on the road, on the sea, or in transit from loading to destination. Who is carrying the risk? Who is bearing the cost? The rule basically defines. So if a bank is money, the bank knows his exposure because the bank is financing this, he knows the exposure of this customer and he's able to now mitigate himself. Look at what the rule, look at the performance. 30% high, 52% very high, that's 50%, that means 85%. Even though the rule is very new, 85% do not have a very good understanding of the important rule. Then documentation. International trade is likely a business of documentation. A buyer might pay for the good before he sees it. Because he's likely going to pay for the good before he sees it. The only reason we pay is because he's seeing a document. There's something we have to rely on that will make him to take a decision. Otherwise called shipping document. But look at what we found out when we tried to review that. The bankers never understand the role of shipping document. What is the role? What are the function? 26% very high to high, and the remaining 74% average low to very low. Level of understanding of import-export regulation. Now, this one is even local regulation. The one issued by Federal Ministry of Finance, the one issued by CBN, local regulation. Very high, 2%. High, 60%, that's 18%. 82% have average to very low. Even in the local rule, this is now the rule that government have issued for regulating international trade both import and export in Nigeria. Then document examination, because if a bank is going to pay based on document, there are rules that guide the way the bank will examine and review the document before the bank pay. And we check, and we realize that high is 4%, and very high is 80%, 22%. So that means about 78% have average or very low level of understanding in the examining document, and that will form the basis for bank payment. Bank level of skill, bank level of skill, and letter of credit discrepancy. This was the one that the government used to take us for. Discrepancy, very high 4%, high 17%. That's 21%. So about 79% have average to very low level of understanding. Then compliance. This is a big fact. Some of our colleagues, former colleagues in banking, some of our students who are banking, who relocated, a lot of them, even though they are trained in Nigeria, some of them find themselves being drafted into compliance abroad. And I'm asking, why is it compliance? I say, that those banks are willing to pay more for people, more people to be compliant, more specialists in compliance, because the kind of fine the American government or UK government slam on them whenever there is an infraction, they would rather hire more people, pay them. They will hire other more people, pay them to minimize that cost, to prevent that cost. So you have issue of compliance become a big deal in our world today. So let's look at compliance. Compliance basically issue that has to do with preventing terrorism and money laundering. Very high to high, 27%. Level of understanding of the concept of trade-based money laundering and counter-finance of terrorism. Trade-based money laundering and counter-finance of terrorism. 14, 4 and 3, 23, that's about 27%. That means 70% are from average to very low level. Then we now say, okay, there are typologies, there are different ways people smuggle their illicit trade into trade transactions. So, and we call them different typologies in trade finance. Bankers have understanding of the typology in trade-based money laundering. Very high, 30%, high 2%. So, 85% are from low to very low level when it comes to the typology, which would mean I'm able to spot and identify trade transactions that are illicit and transactions that are people, and you know, there was a particular case with Boko Haram that was being reported how Boko Haram was funded using international trade. And this is very important for us to be able to identify those illicit trade being used to fund terrorism in our country. Very high in terms of banking level of competence to identify red flags. That when I see a transaction, I can say, oh no, there's an issue with this transaction. I need to give it to people compliance to go and investigate further. I can just spot it. How do I identify the red flag? We ask. Competent identifying red flag. 19% high to very high. Average to very low. It's 1%. Banker level of competence in preventing trade-based money laundering. Very high, 3% high, 60%, that's 90%, over 80% do not have enough level of competence in preventing trade-based. That probably explains the reason why terrorism is persistent in our country. And the fund are still able to go through the banking system and they are able to finance terrorism. The trade finance instrument. The trade finance instruments are basically instruments that help in facilitating financing, helping to reduce the risk and exposure of bank and of course the customer. And this includes letter of credit, bill for collection, guarantees, and letter of credit and the like. So we try to check the rule. Now, talking about the rule again. The rule that guides standby letter of credit is called International Standby Practice, ISP 19. So we check. And you know, the interesting thing is, the usage of letter of credit in the world is declining. The usage of open account is increasing, and that is making the usage of trade finance instruments like demand guarantee and standby to increase. So that means if there is a particular area of competence that banker must develop beyond letter of credit is demand guarantee and standby letter of credit. Demand guarantee and standby letter of credit. So we check for the rule guiding standby letter of credit. Very high 1%, high 8%. Very high 1%, high 8%. That's 9% altogether. Meaning the level of understanding of the rule that guides standby is very low. Then we check for the standby transaction itself. We check the rule and the transaction and we see similar pattern. Very high 3%, high 30%, 60%, about 85% do not have competence in handling this instrument that the usage in the world has been growing since after the financial crisis, the global financial crisis. Then we decide to check for guarantee. The rule guiding guarantee is called Uniform Rule for Demand Guarantee, 758. 1%, the level of understanding of this rule, 1% very high, and high, 6%. You can see it's even very low, that's 7%. That is 93% do not understand the rule. Guiding guarantee, a very commonly used instrument. Then when you come to the demand guarantee transaction itself, high 9%, very high 2%. That is almost 90%. Do not have enough understanding. Remember, this is span across different tiers of banking and different units within the bank, which is a complication. But for us, it's good because it lets us know what the issues are, and then become necessary to say, okay, if we are going to do new training, these are the areas we should be focusing on to build the capacity of the staff. Then the trend in trade, different trend. Because if you don't know what is going on in trend, and I decided to include, even though CBN is no more pushing this particular initiative, but I decided to include it. And the reason is because it's a government initiative. It's a government initiative. And this initiative that is supposed to help, this initiative that's supposed to help to drive export, that the president was talking about, to drive export. Now, look at this. Digitalization of trade during COVID was disastrous. As in for trade, it was terrible. Because trade relied on document, like I said earlier, and document have to be sent across the sea. Flights were cancelled, so document could not be sent out. That exposed the challenge of trade in the world. So, ICC decided to come up with what is called Uniform Rule for Digital Trade Transaction. And the idea is, let's come up with a rule that will help to be able to ensure that if a bank wants to transmit its document electronically, this is the rule that will guide it, and to help the bank to know, okay, now I have a rule. So we know we have a framework that guides the process so that the bank will not lose money. And this is an initiative that came up after COVID, so it's less than 4 years. Bankers' level of understanding of trade digitalization. And we found out that high level, 2%, very high, 50%, 85% don't understand trade digitalization. And that's where we are going. This is inevitable. I mean, COVID already made it become inevitable. So either we like it or not, we must digitalize. So at the end of the day, if we have, God forbid, if you have another pandemic that makes us to the lockdown, trade transaction can still go on in spite of the lockdown of human and human contact. Bankers' level of understanding of service export, another area. I mentioned the fact that global trade is about 30 trillion. Out of that 30 trillion, about 6 trillion, more than 6, going to 7 trillion is on trading services. And it's been growing very fast. And it's championed by Southeast Asia, India, very few in Africa. And this is an area, in fact, this is an area Africa can have advantage because it doesn't require a lot of infrastructure for production the way we have in goods export. But look at this. Service export. 40% said they have a good understanding, and 2% said very high understanding. That's 60%. About 85% lack understanding of this trend in service export. So we check impact of COVID-19. COVID-19 affected trade. What are your understanding of how it affected trade, and what can be done to mitigate it? 30%. This was very remarkable, very, very remarkable. 30% said high. Because a number of people were able to really see it in their customers' transaction. And of course, some people said, so we have almost 40%, which is very, very commendable. But RT200, this was an initiative of CBN. An initiative of CBN, even though currently not being pursued by CBN. And we're trying to know, even our local initiative on growing oil export, how is it? And we found out that very high, 4%, high 40%. So even local initiative, less than 20% have a good understanding of how the 5 pillars and the rule and the 5 pillars that surround the RT200 effects of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Then we talk about trade agreement. Now, we have currently the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. And what we're trying to do is to know that, look, if I'm going to go trade, then banker must understand the trade agreement. The fact that this trade agreement are in stages, the fact that it starts with free trade agreement, then it moves to custom union, then common market, then economic union when we have a single currency. And we're trying to check what is the level of understanding of free trade agreement. Because a lot of cases going to help the bank in financing. Very high, 4%, high, 90%, that's 23%. That means about 75% of the bank have a understanding of free trade agreement, of the concept of what the agreement is all about. So then we went further to talk about the custom union, which is another level beyond the free trade agreement, in which you have a common external tariff. In the free trade agreement, you have internal tariff removed, elimination of internal tariff. When the custom union, you have a common external tariff. Here we have very high, 2%, and high, 10%, that's 14%. 14%. And we have custom union within West Africa. Within West Africa under the ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme. The background of understanding of external tariff in free trade agreement. And then we found out that high is 10%, very high is 2%, that's 12%. That's almost over 80% have a low level of understanding. Then we check also the understanding of common market, which is where AFCFTA is actually going to have one united Africa in which you have a common market and probably achieve a single currency on the continent. Understanding just 15%, high to very high. Average to very low is about 85%. 85%. Then trade financing itself. Background of understanding of trade finance options. There are different trade finance options. What it does is, if I'm faced a case that I need to finance, it helps me to decide which is the most appropriate finance option to ensure that this transaction becomes successful. And found that high is 60%, very high is 3%, 90%. Almost 80% do not have understanding of trade finance option. The back level of understanding of 4 pillars of trade finance. The 4 pillars of trade finance include trade finance, trade payment facilitation, trade risk mitigation, trade finance product, and trade information flow. And that trade information, which is the 4th pillar, is the major challenge because it actually involves monitoring. Most of the time when there are issues with trade financing, most of the time they have to do with monitoring. Very high, 3%. High, 16%, about 20%, about 80% do not have a good understanding of the pillars of trade financing, which always cause the financing to fail. Anytime it fails, it actually has a lot of one of them, and most of the time the trade information flows. Monitoring, 90%, in my opinion, 90% of trade financing that go bad is because of monitoring. Most of the time, it could have been nipping the bud along the line. But of course, you need to understand the concept of monitoring. And we found out that 2 and 7% high to very high. So over 80% have a very low level of understanding of monitoring the financing. So meaning when China go back, if China is going to go back, it will become very difficult to nip it in the bud. Level of understanding of structured trade finance. Now, this particular one help because majority of payment method in the world is open account. A payment method that allows shipment to be done, payment to be made afterwards. Over 80% of trade world is done on this thing. For a bank to protect itself, it needs to be able to be in charge, understand the channel end to end, and structure a dynamic that is comfortable for him. And that's what made the concept of structured trade finance. High level 17%, very high 2%. About 80% have a very low level of understanding of structuring international trade finance. Then trade customer service, helping customers resolve their issues. The customer is going to have issues, and there will be different issues in the course of trade transaction. Different issues. Now, what helps a bank to stand out is the fact that it's able to help the customer solve his problem. Like Emmanuel was saying, the confidence they have of being able to talk to customers. If you don't have that confidence, the customer cannot trust you that you can solve his problem, then it becomes difficult for you to even onboard that customer in the bank. But the level of understanding of export business challenges and the understanding of import business challenges. Level of understanding of export business challenges, 18% and 3%, 21%, over 80% do not have a good understanding. Import, high, 22%, very high, 3%, that's 25%, a little bit higher than export. A little bit higher, but still more than 75% do not have a good understanding of the challenges. Then we now decide, okay, how about the skill to resolve the challenges? The skill to resolve the challenges. High level, high 70%, very high 3%, 80% do not have the skill to resolve import customer challenges. Then on the export customer challenges, high 6%, very high 14%, 20%. 80% do not have a good understanding of the skill to resolve the customer. Now, this is actually going to differentiate one bank from the other. It's going to differentiate between an account officer and the other because of the way the customer perceive you being able to solve the problem. Because of time, more often than not, actually, the customer expects, like when of course acknowledge the fact that because the banker should know a lot better than him. Trade finance management risk. In managing trade finance risk, number one, background of understanding of import financing and skill to mitigate import financing. Import financing, high to very high, 26%. Average to low, 74%. But on the other hand, skill to mitigate this import risk, Very high 3%, high 18%, that's about 21%. Average to very low is over 80%. Then we decide to do also for export. Therefore, for the hand of export financing risk, high 2%, very high 14%, that's 16%. But and that means now you notice that import is a lot better than export. I mean, understandably so, because we do more enough import financing than export in Nigeria. So if you look at export, you notice about 26% in terms of understanding. But that's in import. But in export, just about 16%. In resolving is also very high, 3%, and then high is mitigating the risk. Is 3%, that's about 21%, that is almost 80% do not have a good understanding. Now, before I close and do our recommendation and summary, we decide also to check, those that have done the American Extended Study, we did a survey of our students. Those that have done the certification program, and now it has impacted on their, because it started before COVID actually. So we've done it for almost 6 years or 7 years in partnership with American Extended Study. I was trying to check, how has it impacted on their career? So we checked and we found out that how did we hear about the program? Different people tell us about they heard about the program. But ask what the alumni are saying about the trade professional development program. 65% confirm that trade program has helped them to change jobs, and someone confirmed during the testimony just now, change job for a greater career opportunity. 65%. And remember what remember your name, please. Babajide was saying that the fact that even though he had experience, but they're saying you don't have qualification. They make an easy job, but they say you don't have any qualification, no certification. Why? Not because you can't do it. And I told you about the lady that spent a lot of years in Nigeria, went to the US, and they're saying, okay, we need someone to certify that you know this thing. So an external person that have tested you. So it's not like you don't know it, but we need someone to attest you. That's the whole idea of certification. And 65% said they actually have opportunity to have a great career opportunity by virtue of different education they've done. 75% of the alumni got promotion after taking the professional program. 75%, 76.5 actually, confirmed that doing the program have earned them promotion in the same organization. 75% confirmed that. And then we were interested, okay, how about in salary increase? How has it impacted? 100% confirm at least 11.8% confirm that percent increase in their salary, 100% increase in their salary, 11.8% confirm 100% increase in their salary. 6.8% confirm 75 to 100% increase in their salary. Between 50 to 75% increase in salary as a result of the skill they have, 29%. 25 to 25%, 29%, 29.4%. And you will see that all the people that have done, all of them confirm that what they've learned has contributed to them getting a pay raise as a result of either changing job or promotion on the job because of the solution they are bringing to bear at the workplace. 100% of the alumni confirm that the training program has led to an increase in their salary. Now, about 50% of the alumni experience more than 50% increase in the salary after taking the program. More than 50% increase after taking the program. Now, in conclusion, what are recommendations? Even though we do certification program, but this is not just about trade. I believe this transcends beyond trade. That this, if we check, maybe in other areas, we'll probably see this same gap in other areas. And make a recommendation first to the regulator. First to the management of the bank. The need for specialized courses and certification programs. To support staff to do specialized courses and certification programs that focus on different areas of international trade. The need for excellent training and workshops, sponsoring the banker to attend training program seminars organized by trade finance organizations, industry association and regulatory bodies. Cross-functional exposure, encouraging bankers to broaden their knowledge by allowing them to work in departments related to trade finance, particularly if that involve their job. And of course, mentorship and coaching, implement a mentorship program with experienced trade finance professionals to guide, so that trade finance experts will foster partnership with trade finance and consultant or consulting firms. Continuous learning and development, promote learning and development among bankers by providing access to trade-related industry publications, research papers, and conferences. Regular knowledge sharing sessions, encourage internal a knowledge sharing session on a regular basis where the banker have opportunity to present case studies on trade financing. Performance evaluation and recognition. Incorporate trade finance knowledge into the performance evaluation criteria of the bank. This is very important because they know it's part of the performance evaluation is encourage people to be able to. I mean, I'm sure that happened also for CIBN. The fact that you can't be a banker for many years, you need to have some certification. And so many bankers are with CIBN. Why? Because of the fact that it's now for some bank actually part of their evaluation. So they are encouraged to do those certifications. Then, establishing a regulatory framework and guidelines. Government and banking regulators should create framework and guidelines that outline the required skills. So if I'm a marketer, what are the basic area of trade I must know to help my job? Promote continuous business development. Government and banking regulators should encourage banks to prioritize development in employee. Government and banking regulator also talking about CBN now. To foster partnership with other organizations and trade bodies. It's important for the regulator to audit. That is important for government and banking regulator to regularly conduct audit and evaluation to assess whether the banks are adequately equipping their staff with skills, not just in trade financing, even in other areas. Collaboration between regulation and bank. Government and bank regulators should foster collaboration with banks to establish industry standard guidelines and training programs. How about the bankers themselves? Embrace continuous learning and professional development. I mean, we should maybe hear from some of our friends around about the experience. You realize that for the two people that spoke when we started, how it has impacted on them and on their job themselves. Continuous learning and professional development. We actually have this program with American University Studies. It has basic, it has intermediate, it has advanced, it has finance, and it has diploma. And the beauty of this program is if you do certification with other bodies around the world, they can compare the certification you did vis-a-vis the relevant qualifications. So you might have to do it. So for example, if you do CDCL with the UK, you won't have to do advanced again because they are all at par. But if you do any related, so it's not necessarily. So to be able to have become an American trade specialist, you don't necessarily have to do all the courses with AIS. You can do with other bodies around the world because they already know the basic area that is expected for individuals to know, and they can easily just pay a fee and become an American trade specialist. It's a 100-point process. The basic is 15, intermediate is 15, advanced is 15. Finance is 15, that's CSTF, and then the diploma, executive export business management or executive export trade finance is 40, and that means 100% continuous trade education point to achieve the American trade specialist. Pursue specialized certification and courses, seek out certification and courses that especially focus on topics related to trade financing, networking and collaboration. Engage in network and collaboration professional, trade finance experts and fellow bankers to be able to learn. And on the job learning and mentoring, look for chances to learn on the job. Seek guidance from trade professionals within the organization because in every bank there are always professionals within that space who are highly skilled, who can guide you in your career as a trade professional. I mean, to be able to grow your skill in trade in almost every bank in the country. And as I close and take some questions, I'm going to say the management of banks, bankers themselves and regulators, that if you want to start growing at trade volume, if you want to soar in sales of trade products, if you want to solve trade customer problems, if you want to secure more big ticket transactions, if you want to serve a trade customer better, if you want to sell trade finance products effectively, if you want to stop the exit of trade customer from a bank, then the management, the banker, and regulator must consider implementation of this recommendation resulting from finding of the trade skill finance program. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'll entertain some questions. I know a number of us have questions or comments based on the outcome of this survey, and really we'll finish that. Then we will have one or two testimonies from our students. Then I'll invite the LCI president and CIBN registrar for the unveiling of the report. So let me take this question particularly from the gentlemen of the press and some of our students, of course, are around. Yes. Question or comments? Yes, one, because of time. One, do we have extra mic? Kill the time.
Thank you. My name is Akiola. I did the certification with Teaching Index, but let me say that it seems to be bad. They don't acknowledge the importance of trade professionals, or let me say the importance of the knowledge. So what in that case, what do we do? I don't know how the body can help us to push, because sometimes when you see that you have gained some knowledge, you want to actually use this knowledge in when you go back to the office, like he said. I'm going to the job, I go back to the office, I saw there's a doctor that we see every time, and it's an analysis, and I had to bring it up. You know that even though we process it normally, like every better paper collection, this analysis carry the kind of risk, especially when we don't have effects. So, and they just bring it away. Now, so, and I also informed my supervisor that I had certification, just bring it away. So, there is a problem in terms of the mentality of the importance of this. So, what can you help us? Thank you.
Okay. Can you pass? I want the CIB this class to help. To help with that question, let me take on that, because I'm sure you probably also they are facing it because they do a bigger certification program, and I'm sure that might have been an issue. So I'm sure they will make a recommendation. We would like to hear from Mr. Muraki. Okay, yes, that.
Okay, thank you very much for thank you for this program and this survey you come up with. Just to make a comment on what my former colleague mentioned. You know, it's one thing to have the certification, the paper qualification, but another thing to bring it to bear on your job. What employers are looking for people that are providing solutions. They don't want to see a certificate, they want to see the solutions your certificate is causing you to produce. So if you're not able to bring to bear your expertise, what you have gained in terms of knowledge through this process to solve their problems, they will likely not recognize it. But once you begin to solve problems, and then maybe in the course of getting to know how you're able to solve these problems, and you let them know that it's because I have attended certification programs, I have acts and things like that, then they'll begin to take notes. And probably because of you, you know, they will not be able to give exceptions, or maybe give extraordinary approvals to recognize those things, and probably add monetary incentives to it. Just thought I should let us know that because it affected me on my own job too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me hear from Mr. Moran on what he said. I don't know if you have a comment about
All right, thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor and privilege to be here this morning. First and foremost, let me commend this initiative of 3T Implex on the skills gap. And I think that what has been done is just to show some aspects of what is a general problem. This problem is not limited to banking alone. It goes across every sphere of our national life. One of the bane of our problems in Nigeria is the decadence and the decay in educational system. Take it or leave it, developed worlds like Singapore have their success stories founded in the quality of education. And so the decrease or decadence in our educational system is a big problem in our society. And I think this study is what developed countries also do. When you say there's a problem, they don't just fix it, they research it with a view to bringing in solutions that will fix the problems. I give you an example. We also the curriculum of education is obsolete. It needs to be updated. So what do people do? A few people gather 1, 2, 3 and begin to suggest what can we do and just pack it. Is that the right way to do? No. Why don't you survey what the market is saying, what the economy wants, and then you can customize and develop something that meets the need of the market. We all heard about the National Commission of 1959, which was set up principally because the educational system in Nigeria, pre-independence, the quality of graduates that were produced, for instance, by Yaba College of Education, College of Technology, which was the first institution in Nigeria, we said after 9 years of existence, they did not produce experts, they were producing technicians. And that's why that commission came up with institutions that set up the first set of first-class universities in Nigeria. They did a study, and that's why we appreciate what you are doing by doing a study to establish what exactly are the problems. And so, having said this, I also want to concur that this needs to be expanded beyond the banking industry, although we know that the banking industry plays a pivotal role. It's at the core. If the banking industry sneezes, the entire world catches cold. So fine, we need others follow. But then everybody, let me tell you the truth, if Nigeria understands trade, 50% of our problems will disappear. The president said it is the truth. No matter what we do, as long as our export is less than our import, this problem will persist. But once we have deficit in trade, in terms of export and import, this problem will persist. But once we can raise that bar of export, these things will fizzle out. And that became clear to me. I was talking to Dr. Eden in the morning. I went for IATF in Cairo. It then became clear to me, sometime last year, that if Nigeria can move and elevate the level of trade using our numerical strength and riding on after, Nigeria will be a completely different country where everybody is going home happy, smiling. That's why you see what you see in China. Every city, every town, every home, every hamlet is a cluster of producing something. And all the government does is give them infrastructure and help them connect them to market. And so everybody is happy. I met a Chinese man who said if he was in government in Nigeria, Nigeria would be a different place because the philosophy is keep them busy. So you can't find people protest. He said as long as China exists, communism will continue to exist because they understand the name of the game. They keep their citizens engaged. They are producing, they are making money, they are exporting, they are happy, they are not bothered about what is happening at the center. And so this is what is happening. Back to the question of my brother before you step out. Okay, I can also answer in the absence of his presence here. One thing I have come to realize in my career is that two things you need to master to be successful: time and change management. Until you master time and change management, success is not in view. It is not easy to effect change. It is a process that you went for a training and you have suddenly become an expert. Does not mean that everybody listening to you begin to say Rangadedi. No, it is a process. Change management is a process. The first time you say it is perhaps, what is it saying? Nonsense. What do? You change your approach. You present your case in a logical, convincing manner with facts and figures. Today I see a lot of people walk up to me in the office in my little enclave. And as I speak, it is dead on arrival. We don't take decisions based on impulse. It depends on facts and figures. If you do this, you are saving this. If you do this, you are attracting this. You saw when someone spoke earlier, where he says he gave examples of all these gentlemen who spoke. Yes. How much are you saving from 20 so year to so year? Annually, you are saving this. Only fools without hopes. If you are able to put that on the table, and I see the comparative advantage of my old ways to the new ways, what will happen? I will change. But to say, I've said it, he didn't buy it, who told you? You have to say it over and over and say the same thing in different ways. If you continue to come to me with the same broken record, you are looking like a broken record. Each time you say it is dead on arrival. So in terms of your organization accepting your proposition, there's a part to be played on your part, and there's a part to be played on the part of the organization. But it's a gradual process. You've got to see it over and over. And in terms of the other side, At CIBN, we have engagement with your bank CEOs. We have engagement with a lot of leaders in the industry. Whatever next available opportunity I have, I won't make a case for people in trade desk. But of course, don't forget that the very most important thing for you is value, what you place on the table. And you must also be able to project that value that everybody sees it, not hidden, not clear. And I think those are my interventions at this point. Thank you very much.
All right. Any other question, comment, question? Okay, before we do the unveiling, we'd like to hear from one or two of our students. I can see the dam. Okay, I can see. Okay. Let me call. Mr. Dan has spoken. At least I can see James and the Cheyenne. I don't know if I'm okay. Just that we certificate today you speak when you come. Let me hear from Cheyenne from first one. Let's put our hands together for him, please.
Okay, still morning by my time. Good morning, colleagues. Standing on existing protocol, a lot has been said here, and first and foremost, I must give an ovation to this laudable survey that has been unveiled by our professor, Dr. Hemego, but I choose to call him professor because I mean it's just is a depth of knowledge, and I want everyone to join me to give him a round of applause. It's really deep survey he has done, and no doubt about it, there is a lot of gap in terms of skill, and just like Mr. Morakio put it, it's not just about the banking industry, it cuts across. And for us to really achieve the change that we desire as a country, I mean, every unit of sectors available in this country needs to be part of this. There is a gap in knowledge, in virtually every sector. For for us to be able to embrace exports. Incidentally, I work in the export department. I'm the head of export trade, First Bank. A lot has changed since I took the diploma in export trade at Treaty Apex. Before now, the organization used to look at export as one of those things, and normally packaged export transactions as a regular transaction. But I mean, having gotten this knowledge, it has become a changed dimension. I mean, just like you said again, initially when we were speaking, it was like Greek, and I have my colleague Emmanuel. You mean you want to package a transaction without collateral? How come? How possible? But this is a specialized area. And I really thank God for this training because it has really given us the kind of knowledge, confidence, and ability to be able to engage top management, to take the desired change and steps that are required, to move forward in terms of export. Now, where I was going was that this change isn't just about the banking industry alone. It should cut across virtually every sector, every industry, manufacturing, service, and all that. We have a lot as a country to export, both within Africa and even globally. Nigeria is probably one of the most blessed countries in the world. This is one country that I've not even since I was born. I mean, I'm close to 50. I've never heard of earthquake. There is virtually no natural disaster apart from the man-made. The resources are enormous. There's virtually any resources that you look for in the world that I don't find in Nigeria. So we have, but because the knowledge is not there, a lot of people, instead of riding Okada, because they don't have knowledge, can partake in trade and export particularly, so that we can affect our balance of trade. I think this way the country will be better off for it. We have a lot to do in terms, as individuals, to even improve our own exchange rates. Today we say, this government does not know what they are doing because the exchange rate has gone up. But, I've chosen to dress like this to this occasion today to also make a statement that we need to patronize this is Kampala. This is made in Nigeria. And we need to begin to patronize made in Nigeria thing. That is the only way. We need to move from a consuming nation to a producing nation. That's the only way. That's the only way. When we produce enough and it is sufficient, then we will have enough to export. It takes knowledge. It's not only going to be in the past, but it has to cut across, guys. It has to cut across and cut across every sector. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Beautiful experience. Thank you so much, sir. I also call on Mr. Emmanuel James to come and share his experience with us. Please let's welcome him as he comes.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I also want to stand on existing protocol, but I must recognize Mr. Morakio, being the registrar of Revival Institute. I'm a fellow of the Channel Institute of Council, and I'm proud to be one. I'm proud to be one. I sincerely want to thank the doctor for what he has done. I don't think it's only in Lagos. The totality of Nigerians should hear Dr. Dele over and over again. And in the midst of professionals like this, I don't like talking too much. Because by the time you talk too much, it will look as if probably I'm lying. So much has been said. The only thing I just want to say is for more education in the area of exports. There was a time I remember when we took the diploma about 6 or 7 years ago. Dr. Ayemibo said so much about the export support program. So much, talked about the tax holiday, talks about so many of the support programs, which I know a lot of exporters don't know about. If they know about such programs, the sky is not even the limit for all exporters. So I just want to encourage everybody, whatever we have learned over the years, let's put them to practice. And just like he also said, it's not enough for you to say you have certification. I get what I'm saying now. What are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table? If you don't bring anything to the table, the certification is a nullity. It's a nullity. It's nothing. So yes, for myself, a lot of experience I've been gained, and by the grace of God, I've moved. I used to be a steady man. I've now moved to Diploma Trust Bank with my second in command, and by the grace of God, promotion has been coming. Things have been happening. We know that from what we have learned from free bidding rates, always begin to do. We're already putting them into practice, and we're going to see a lot of fruits coming out. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's beautiful. More promotions for everyone here. Yes, I also call Mr. Lucia Thomas. Are you here? Yes, okay. Yeah, so now it's time for unveiling, but before that, let's call one student who wants to talk. Someone that does not want to talk, but I want to call him. He does not like to come outside. He will give you the permission to call Mr. Daniel Kayao. Please can we clap for him as he comes up? Thank you, sir.
All right, it's also still morning on my blog, so good morning, everyone. And as the other speakers have said, I stand on all the existing protocols. All right, so what can I say about Dr. Bamdele? I think I've known him for a decade now, and that's all been upward and forward with him, if I may say that. And I'm not surprised at what he has done. One thing I know about him is that he's always looking for solutions. And that's one I pick from him. If there's anything I want to do, if anywhere I find myself, what solutions can I bring to bear? What problems can I solve? If you're a problem solver, you will never be poor. And if Nigerians can buy into just this one principle, that if you solve problems, you cannot be poor. So if there's anything I've learned from Dr. Bamdele, is to be a solution provider. It doesn't matter where you are. For me now, I found myself in trade, and so what solutions am I bringing to the table? What am I helping with? Whether it's my organization or my immediate boss or my colleagues, I was formerly with First Bank, solving problems, and then a bigger challenge came, and now I'm head of trade services in Ghana Bank, and I still have some of my colleagues here. Emmanuel, that is my very good friend. We still keep in touch. So all I can say is this: if there's anything I'm learning, and I keep learning from Dr. Bamdele, is that be a solutions provider. And for him, he's blazing the trail. In Nigeria, I don't know how many, in quote, professors will come out and produce surveys like this that is destined to solve problems in this nation. And my prayer for him is that his voice will be heard. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So now, yes, want to go to our next, which is one of my people will say the cocoa of the day. Want to unveil the Nigerian Trade Finance Skill Gap Assessment Survey. And I would like to welcome to the stage the LCCI President, I'd like to welcome the LCCI President, Mr. Gabriel Idamusa. Please come up, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Also, I would like the CIBN Registrar, the CEO of Chartered Digital Banking of Nigeria, Mr. Akin Moraki, was also joining us. So we're going to count 5 downwards and we'll unveil. Let's all go together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow, that was amazing. Can we clap? All right.
Are we okay? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Next is, yes, presentation of certificate, yes. So I'm graduating, convocating students of the American Institute of Extended Studies. So first of all, I'm calling on Adams Gania Abidemi. Ayola Rashida. Okay. Akiola Olalekon is here. Please let's stop for him as a come up. Congratulations, sir.
Yes.
Please, before you go, can you just give us share your experience, one comment on how this program has affected your career life?
Thank you. All to us now. I'm excited to be here. First and foremost, let me say I want to thank Dr. Bamidele for presenting up a program like this. I just spent about a year and a half in trade. Okay, I moved from particular to trade, and the knowledge that I gained actually helped me to open my mind. But I wanted to do more. I wanted to go to a higher level, but I just some constraint because I was really interested in going to a higher level just because of the situation of the country and some of the issue of my income. But let me say that he always provided that knowledge. It is a history of knowledge, and it allowed us to ask any question that we're not conversant with, and allowed us to bring real life experience, not just the textbook, but experience so that we can see how we can solve problems, in our various offices. And so, that I really appreciate, what he has done, and I pray that you will take it, even to the issue of regulatory and also to the issue of cutting across manufacturing sector too. It's very key because you may not only be concerned about banking but also manufacturing sectors too. So that's my topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Who is next?
Thank you so much. Next is Emmanuel Todo. Please let's have for him as he's coming out.
Hold it. Sorry.
And next we have Oluseyi Emmanuel Thomas, who has completed export trade finance from the American Institute of Extended Studies.
Okay.
Let's start for him as he's coming up, please.
Thank you.
Yes, all other people are not around. They're coming from far places. So we move to our the next on the agenda is the closing remark, and that will be done by the CEO and the Registrar of Chartered Institute of Banking of Nigeria, Mr. Akimura Kenyo. Please let's clap for him.
Our host for today, the author of the Nigerian Trade Finance Schools Gap Assessment Survey, Dr. Pamela, the President, General Council of LCCI, our mentor, our father, leader, Mr. Gabriel Ginusa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen here present, I join you no bound being part of this engagement this day, because the great sage Mandela once said that education is the greatest weapon with which you can change the world. And if you look around what is happening in Nigeria today, at the root of our problem is lack of education. I'm not sure there's anyone in this room for any amount that someone will ask you to go and barricade the highway there just because you are informed. So, Socrates also once said that knowledge is a defense in the time of adversity. Our country today is going through a very turbulent time, and you will agree with me that with the right knowledge, the problems are surmountable. And ignorance will not solve the problem, it will create it. And so at the Council of Bankers of Nigeria, we commend this initiative by Dr. Bamidele that is adding value to the ecosystem. Like someone once said, the problems are many, but the solutions are scarce. And so where you have a solution provider who is providing solutions, I guess that fellow, that lady, that man, that woman is that round of applause. Let's appreciate the work. Well, I've said in my intervention earlier that this is a good piece of work, and but it is not limited to banking alone. It cuts across all sectors, all facets of our country, and therefore we appreciate this and will embrace it as the banking industry, knowing fully well that we play a very pivotal role in solving problems that affect the economy. A lady has a shop, what we call a shop, an outlet. And then she woke up and found out that sales were dropping. So she opened her eyes to see what is going on. And then she found out that even her customers, everybody that used to troop into her outlet, were trooping to the store beside her. And so she asked her sales rep to go and survey and find out what exactly is the force of attraction. And then she found out that the lady has put an inscription on the entrance of the store outlet, which says, "Great deals." And you know, when you hear great deals in a time like this, what do? You rush in there. So while she was thinking of what to do, the store to her right now came up with another inscription: lowest prices. Great deals here, lowest prices to the right. So there was promotion here and there. Everybody rushing in to get their best deals. And so she prayed. After about 24 hours, she got an inspired idea. After lowest prices and great deals, what will you put on top of your phone? It is clear that she needs to put an inscription there. Guess what? She got an inspired idea and she just woke up and put main entrance. Lowest deals, great deals, main entrance. Correct. So everybody started trooping in to our store, thinking that they're going to lowest prices and great Davis. Please clap for yourself. Why am I saying this? What's the analogy for? I said it a couple of minutes ago that if Nigeria understands the power of trade, our problem is solved. This is the main entrance of the solution to Nigeria's problem. And so, at the Chinese School of Bankers of Nigeria, we have recognized the important role of capacity building in starting up anything novel. And so, I've seen some of the recommendations we made there, and I was very happy to say that quite a number of the recommendations you have on that publication, we are embracing, already embracing at the Chinese School of Bankers of Nigeria in terms of mentoring, in terms of collaboration, in terms of capacity building, and we will work with our stakeholders to ensure that we invite this. I give you an instance. We have a collaboration with African Bank on trade certifications. And I've told Doctor that we'll collaborate with him to deepen that certification because it goes around the continent of Africa. In fact, on the 25th of April, we also have a collaboration with PAPS, the Pan-African Payment Settlement Systems, where we have a roadshow, the first in Nigeria, on the after-trade payment system. It's happening in the hotel. You are all cordially invited, and if I have a contact, I can invite, send the invite across to you. We also have collaboration with a host of others. I give you an example. Africa Guarantee Fund is a non-bank institution that gives funding to SMEs. But guess what? We have found out that most SMEs cannot access the fund because of lack of capacity. And so the institute is bridging the gap to train those people, prepare them to be able to access finance from those institutions. And so this great piece of work that has been done by is highly commendable, and the Chinese School of Bankers of Nigeria commend you for this initiative, and we will do everything possible to work with you to deepen the knowledge and capacity within the banking industry, addressing some of this area of skills gap, which is obvious. So we want to commend everyone who has come to this event today. We thank you and we appreciate you for taking our time to be part of this kind of engagement. I know if this were to be one day, that was a fright. When we talk of knowledge, people disdain knowledge in this type of environment, but everybody knows that knowledge is power, and knowledge will stand you out. And so on this note, I want to thank you and congratulate everyone here present this morning. And please, as I take my seat, let me turn to your right and to your left. Tell someone, congratulations, I am glad you made it. Thank you very much. Congratulations, I'm glad you made it. Congratulations, I am glad you made it. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you.
We're rounding off now. We'll just take some photographs. Take some photographs. Where is she? The photograph still.
Yes, it's time for photograph. Dr. Bangladesh before. The LCCI president, CEO had, yes. It's time for photograph. Size match. Yes.